Good morning. I'm just finding where I'm at here. All right. I'm going to read these verses out of the Complete Jewish Bible because that's what I read it in when I was working on this. All right. So in our Torah portion today, I'm going to read verses 10 through 12. He found his people in desert country, in a howling, wasted wilderness. He protected him and cared for him, guarded him like the pupil of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up her nest, hovers over her young, spreads out her wings, takes them, and carries them as she flies. Adonai alone led his people. No alien god was with him. I think when you hear those verses, you can kind of hear God's love for Israel in that, and how he takes care of Israel and protects his people. And he led them. But then we didn't read the part later on in this chapter where it talks about how they turned away from him, but that does happen. And then I'm going to find the verse because I didn't put that in here. Oh, verse 26. I considered putting an end to them, erasing their memory from the human race, but I feared the insolence of their enemy, feared that their foes would mistakenly think, we ourselves accomplished this. Adonai had nothing to do with it. So God did not put an end to his people because he didn't want their enemies to think that they did it themselves. I'm going to read something from Micah. I'm kind of all over the place with this, but I think it kind of goes together. All right, there we go. So in Micah, we read that he does not retain his anger forever because he delights in grace. So I'm going to read that verse. Who is like you? Who is a God like you, pardoning the sin and overlooking the crimes of the remnant of his heritage? He does not retain his anger forever because he delights in grace. He delights in grace. So I'm going to read some verses from Joel next. Okay. We read that Adonai will become jealous for his land and have pity on his people. And as I was reading I think it was in here, there was a verse that said something about fruit, and I'm going to try to find that. I think that was in here. But, yeah. It said the trees are putting out their fruit. And as I was reading that, I thought that's talking about the fruit of people coming to the Messiah and people getting saved and coming to the Torah. Okay. And then in Hosea it says to bring words with you, and I'm in Micah, so that's not right. Hold on a second. There we go. Take words with you and return to Adonai. Say to him, forgive all guilt and accept what is good. So we need to come to Adonai with our words and confess our sins and admit our transgressions. And we know that the Bible tells us that when we do that he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins, not because of anything we've done, but because of the merit of Yeshua and because of the grace that we have through him. And he also will be faithful and just to forgive Israel for their sins, even though that kind of doesn't, to us that might not make sense because, they did a lot of things wrong, but so did we. But he will be faithful and just to forgive Israel for their transgressions. And I was going to try to find something else here. Give me just a minute. Okay. In Deuteronomy 32, verse 4, it says, "The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are just. A trustworthy God who does no wrong, he is righteous and straight." So if he says that he's going to forgive Israel's transgressions, then he's not doing anything wrong when he does that. Okay. I'm going to read some verses from Isaiah here, and that will be the end of my Drash then. Okay. Isaiah 54, verses 5 through 8 says, "For your husband is your maker, Adonai Zevaot is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He will be called the God of all the earth. For Adonai has called you back like a wife abandoned and grief-stricken. A wife married in her youth cannot be rejected, says your God. Briefly, I abandoned you, but with great compassion I am taking you back. I was angry for a moment and hid my face from you, but with everlasting grace I will have compassion on you, says Adonai, your Redeemer." And now I'm going to read Isaiah 62, verses 1 through 5. "For Zion's sake I will not be silent. For Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until her vindication shines out brightly and her salvation like a blazing torch. The nations will see your vindication, and all kings your glory. Then you will be called by a new name, which Adonai himself will pronounce. You will be a glorious crown in the hand of Adonai, a royal diadem held by your God. You will no longer be spoken of as Azuvah, abandoned, or your land be spoken of as Shemama, desolate. Rather, you will be called Hephzibah, my delight is in her, and your land Beulah, married. For Adonai delights in you, and your land will be married. As a young man marries a young woman, your sons will marry you. As bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so your God will rejoice over you."